Hey there, Uniwarriors! EnnuiGoblin here, once again bringing to you the latest in Uniwar action. I have a very special match for you today. It is going to be a round 3 elimination game between Team Uniwar Poland and Team Chitan at the Risky Business 2v2 tournament. I've been meaning to do some team matches for quite some time now, and I thought this would be the perfect matchup, considering that Uniwar Poland and Chitan will be playing for the opportunity to go on and face New Earth in the semifinals at the Risky Business tournament. Getting to know our players a little bit, looking at Team Uniwar Poland, it is Legia and Xynth. Legia is a fantastic player. Recently took the championship in January, came 4th place in May, ranked number 3 in the championship ladder, 30th worldwide. He also has a fantastic YouTube channel. The channel is called Uniwar Poland. Please go check out his videos. He's got such fantastic content. He also has some casting of some other games. Make sure you give him a look-see. Also playing with him will be Xynth. Xynth, another fantastic high-profile Polish player, coming in at 35th on the championship leaderboard, 92nd worldwide, consistently playing with Legia and a bunch of other tournaments as many other different types of teams, 2v2s, 3v3, 4v4. Coming in at 16th round, the round of 16 at the SAT v SAT tournament. Look for these two to be a very powerful duo, and their opponent, this will be Team Chitan, consisting of none other than uniKZ. What a player this guy is, coming in as the September champion, the September championship, also runner-up at championship June, January, October, and December. This guy is a phenomenal player, ranked currently number 3 in the number 2 on the championship leaderboard, and number 3 worldwide. And of course, his teammate Sdrawde. Sdrawde, also a fantastic player himself, managing to pull runner-up at the Desert Chaos competition, coming in 40th on the championship leaderboard and 5th worldwide. Also, consistently, these two have played in many tournaments together before, as both 2v2, 3v3, and 4v4. Looking at one thing I'd like to mention about this map before we get started, both of these teams have managed to pull a win in their group from Team WWWW. That means that this particular match is going to be a winner-take-all scenario. So that means there's no need to watch the number of turns. There's no need to try and stall out the game. There's only one objective here: kill all the bases and destroy your enemy. There is no need to play a second match after this game. Looking at the map is Future Planet V4. It's quite an enormous map. Very dynamic. Each player will be getting 400 credits to start, 75 credits per base. I'm not sure exactly how much they get per turn after all their naturals have been captured. I think it's somewhere in the realm of about 450 or so per turn once all natural bases has been captured. Looking a little bit more at this map, a couple of things to notice here. It's, first of all, how large and dynamic this map is. This is one of the largest tournament maps I've seen in quite some time. The outside is consisting of an outer and an inner circle on this map. The outside ring is going to be quite more open, a lot more road tiles here, a lot more open desert spaces. A couple of mountains here are going to be safeguarding each base spot. And then the inner circle is going to be segregated by this outer ring of swamp and ocean tiles, and that's going to make maneuverability from the inside to the from the center to the outside, and vice versa, very difficult. On the inside, much more closed, lots of forest tiles, swamp tiles, a large group of ocean tiles in the center with ports. We might be able to see an opportunity for ships to be naval units to be grown in order to gain control of the center. And I think the main component to keep your eye on with this base is this map are the way the bases are oriented in the center. In each team, we'll have each player from each team will have 2 bases in the center, and these bases will be directly across from the opposing team. That means that these bases all in the center are going to be very high-profile targets for base captures in this game. So look for the center to be a very designated area of hot contest. Also, there will be an uncontested extra blank base in the center of the map. On the outside, other places that you might want to keep your eye on, bases that are bordering each other's positions will also be very high-profile targets for considerable base capture positions. So look for that to be the part of the action. With all that out of the way, let's get this game underway. At the top half of the map on the north side, playing as the White Sapiens, playing for Team Chitan, it is Sdrawde. And playing on the western side of the map as the Red Sapiens for Team Chitain, it is uniKZ. Playing on the southern position for Team Uniwar Poland, playing as the Blue Titans, it's Xynth. And finally, playing on the eastern position as the Black Sapiens, playing for Team Uniwar Poland, it's Legia. And one thing I think that's going to be very curious to see is how all these players are going to want to open up. There's a lot of different positions and a lot of different options, especially for the players going in turns 3 and 4, as they're going to have that significant credit boost. There's many, many different bases and different ways they might want to approach this map. Here we see Legia going with a double Marine opening, triple Marine opening from Legia, and now uniKZ opening with Marauder, second Marauder coming out, and now here come the base captures from uniKZ. uniKZ looking to try and get a lot of map control by having Marauders on opposing parts of the map. And I wonder how much control he can take on the region on the outside here with that extra Marauder. Another Marine coming up from uniKZ on this turn. Here we go now, Sdrawde opening up with a Marine and a Marauder. Second Marine coming up on the board, and is he going to purchase another Marine? Does he have enough for a Marauder? He still has 325 credits, so he still has quite a number of options. He could go triple Marine, he could go Marauder Marine, he could save up, maybe get a Copter and a Marine next turn. He's got plenty of different things he wants to do. Looks like he's going to go with Marine, and then save on. That's not a bad opening at all. We do see a Speeder and a Mecha opening from Xynth here, going through his bases, and I like these openings. All seem to be about map control, it's just the way to go on a map this large. The more zone of control you can get on a map like this, the more difficult you can make it for your enemy to make threats on your bases. And here we go now, Legia gonna be bringing up another Marauder onto the board. Second Marine coming out, moving his Marine back to make that base capture. This Marine gonna be coming up, trying to guard away that Marauder from getting a base cap early on. More Marines getting pumped out by Legia. And here we go, first strike. It is going to be uniKZ trying to take down some of Xynth's mechas early on. And we do see first blood, 100 kill count coming up to Team Chitan. Another Marauder coming up from uniKZ and another Marine. And there's a lot of units here are going to be clashing very soon. Just some reorienting of these Marines, maybe try to get them on some defensive positions from uniKZ. Sdrawde now making another base capture, pushing his Marines a little closer to the center, not wanting to get caught on one of those swamp tiles just yet. More Marines coming up from Sdrawde. Sdrawde trying to make a threat up to that center, and it looks like Sdrawde is going to see if he can make that early capture in the center first. More Marines and a Copter coming up from Sdrawde. That is going to be a huge force multiplier in the center. Here we go. Seeing Speeder from Xynth, going to try and whittle down some of these Marauders, see if he can make it more manageable and keep uniKZ out of the center. They do not want two players in the center at the same time. That would make it impossible for them to stop the base capture. Xynth now porting over some mechas, trying to get some control, but those mechas will not have zone of control until next turn and will not be able to attack. And is it going to be enough? Legia now moving in, trying to attack whittle down some of these Marines, not give them a chance to make it to the center and get base captures. And actually making a possible threat against this base on the other. No, he's deciding to go for the center and wants to secure it for Team Uniwar Poland instead. Continuing his push with all these Marines, it looks like Legia is going to be making a very serious bid for the center very soon. Here we see a Marauder and a Marine, and that is going to be a lot of firepower coming into the center in the next round. uniKZ now making his last base capture. Where's this Marauder going to go? No, he's going to go with heals on the Marauder instead, pushing up his Marines, trying to defend against this plasma tank. He does not want the plasma tank to get free shots, and a tank coming down on the south to deal with that plasma tank from uniKZ. In the meantime, uniKZ going to try and metal down some of these mechas, not wanting to let them pour it in or move in towards the center. He wants to maintain control of that center as much as possible. Also pushing out with these Marines, trying to make sure that this Marine push from Legia is denied. Engineer also coming down for uniKZ. That means he's going to get some very rapid healing next round. Sdrawde now going to try and whittle down some of these Marines on the outer edge, not let them be reinforcements for later turns. Continuing his assault against these Marines in the center. And now the Copter going to be using its superior mobility to get very big strikes against these Marauders. And Sdrawde going to easily be able to dispose of that Marauder as it is on the port tile there. Also getting a very nice hit against Legia's Marine, and it looks like Legia, Team Uniwar Poland is losing control of the center very, very quickly. They're going to have to make some big moves this turn to get back into the center. Xynth now having to deal with the outside pressure from Sdrawde is not going to be able to send that speeder into the center. Meanwhile, this plasma tank going to try and whittle away. A lot of force pressure coming from uniKZ on that exposed base on the south. And Legia and Xynth have put a lot of resources into controlling the center, but uniKZ and Sdrawde have done a great job of denying them control of that area. Legia now going to try and push back some of these Marines, not wanting anybody from Sdrawde to get like any kind of base captures on the north, maybe on the west side. And here we go, a lot of Marines going down. If we take a look at our credit count, the credit kill count is actually fairly even. Legia's got quite a number of credits to 875. More aggression from Legia, trying to whittle down these Marines, and it's just a matter of kill some of my units, kill yours. A lot of these are just pretty even exchanges so far. I would say that maybe a bit of an advantage right now to Team Chitan, just by virtue of their control of the center with all these copters. There is a copter on the board now for Team Uniwar Poland, though, but it looks like uniKZ, eyeing that copter, not wanting to let it join the reinforcements, is going to try and whittle it down right now at the expense of the health of these Marauders. Not a bad trade, I'd say. That copter could have done a lot of damage to the other copters, and now Uniwar Poland doesn't really have a lot to deal with these two copters from Sdrawde in the center. Meanwhile, uniKZ still pushing out with his Marauder, trying to whittle down more Marines on the west, continuing this push, but it looks like he will be outnumbered on the west, but instead opting to put more forces on the south. There's big base capture threat over in this position. More engineers and Marines trying to deal with those two plasma tanks on the south front. Here we go, Sdrawde trying to eliminate some of these Marines. Make sure that he maintains control of the center until a base capture finally goes down. Speeder now from getting a lot of hits from these Marines, trying to deny that Speeder any control of the center as well. And here's the gang up on the Speeders, going to go down. No, it's only a 3-shot, but it looks like it will be taken out of any useful combat scenarios for the time being. Down goes the helicopter from Sdrawde and a base cap from Sdrawde. And now in comes the Marine. The other Marine is dealt with, and this is a very dangerous base capture. We could see our very first base capture of the game. Not to mention two heals coming off from the Marauder in the center, and the kill count pulling far ahead in Team Chitan now after that helicopter going down. And Team Uniwar Poland going to have to make some big moves. Out comes the Hydronaut from Team Chitan, and that could be a game changer in the center. That Hydronaut capable of doing so much damage against all those units in the center with all that range. It's a pretty good decision right now. There's a lot of units in the center that have to be dealt with, and they just don't have the firepower. And instead of bringing reinforcements where they're continually getting whittled down, bring the Hydronaut in the center. Try and cut out the middleman. Meanwhile, Legia going to try and whittle down this helicopter, not wanting it to join the fray at all. A full health Marine on the mountain going to get a big 2-shot against it. Here comes the gang up from the Marauder. Another 2-shot, and that helicopter going to be brought from full health to 3 health right away. Meanwhile, more combat between these Marines, and Legia just doing everything he can. He does not want that tank to get any access behind that swamp line. It would be disastrous for that front. Helicopters coming down from Legia, and if we look at the damage, not bad on their damage, but they're still running a deficit. And now here comes Team Chitan, going to try and widen their credit gap as much as possible. A couple Marines coming out from uniKZ. Marauder getting us some heals. Bringing up the Marines, trying to deny any more units from getting to that base capture. And it looks like, I don't know if the Team Uniwar Poland is going to be able to prevent this base capture from Sdrawde on the next turn. I just don't know if they have the resources there yet. Maybe that Hydronaut can deal with the problem if it's got the range, but I think it's blocked with the zone of control. Battery also coming from uniKZ, and that's going to be a big problem for a team that's already dealing with problems in the south front. Battery is going to make it all the more difficult for them to get control over that area. Copter now going to weaken this Marine considerably, and that Marine is the last real unit preventing the base capture from going down. Maybe the Hydronaut if it can get to the range. Meanwhile, more pressure from Sdrawde, getting another Marine kill, widening the gap to 1750 over 950. And this is looking very dangerous for Uniwar Poland. They have to get a turn with some serious damage rolls if they want to stay in. Down goes the base capture, and I don't know if there's the units in place for that base capture to be prevented. Sdrawde now building more Marines, trying to just get as much zone of control so that no reinforcements for Legia can make it over there in time. Walker now coming down from Xynth, and the Walker is going to be a big problem, and it might just get an unexposed southwestern front from uniKZ caught unaware. Meanwhile, Legia trying to come out, bring these reinforcements, but he has to deal with the units from the north, and those copters are looking a little dangerous to come up to that position on uniKZ just yet. Legia capturing a port. We may see a destroyer come out next turn. Is he going to have the credits for it? I think he will. I think he will have the credits. Push now coming from the tank. Trying to weaken that Marine on the mountain. Taking no damage. A free 5-shot from that tank. More Marine aggression from uniKZ. Trying to whittle down these forces. It looks like Legia was able to throw a tank down on that base to provide it some defense. And that tank should be able to hold against Marines unless something more substantial. That battery gonna be a problem for these plasma tanks. And also base cap from the tank onto the south bank. And we've got a very serious threat of base capture here. That battery is not gonna make it easier for Team Uniwar Poland to reclaim that position. And Xynth about possibly a double base capture. Base capture is going to be successful from Sdrawde, and then Sdrawde finally picking up that base and the extra income, and now things looking very dangerous for Team Uniwar Poland as they are going to be in a credit deficit as well as a deficit on killed. Although the deficit isn't quite that bad just yet. It's about 400, but it's going to grow a little bit as Sdrawde gets a few more kills here. Sdrawde now continuing to just control the center as much as possible. Building more Marines to make sure those copters second guess approaching, but these copters in the back are a little weakened, but another full health copter is going to come up to reinforce, and it's going to be difficult to take that position now. Sdrawde just reorienting his units, making sure that he's going to make it as difficult possible for anybody, but here comes the Hydronaut, and the Hydronaut going to get an immediate kill shot. Xynth has to get rid of those smaller units on that outer ring of ports, and then bring the Hydronaut out to go and attack the more expensive, heavier units. And Strawde's been doing an excellent job of making it difficult for that Hydronaut to get anything valuable. Legia now bringing out his copters, trying to weak out this position. Is he going to go for the base cap? The base cap does go down. Out comes the Marauder, and Legia now finally making the first base capture threat of the game, using that Marauder to try and make sure that. And out comes the full health copter, and now suddenly we have a very strong base capture threat. Up comes the Marine, and uniKZ gonna have to divert forces and attention to make sure that base capture doesn't go down. Sdrawde caught a little out of position here. He's been so focused on the center that he's been letting his northern flank get a little weakened. Battery's now been heavily damaged, but it was definitely worth the sacrifice. It's not dead. The engineer is gone, but now the base capture looks like it could be legitimate, and a locker goes down. And now that is going to be a huge credit deficit. It's nearly 800 credit deficit for the players. And uniKZ is still going, and Sdrawde has not even taken his turn yet. Down goes another Marine on the northern flank. Tank now trying to get as many kills as possible. uniKZ trying to open that position. Wants to prevent that base capture from the north from going down. Moving opting to move that Marine into the center instead. Out comes another Marine from uniKZ. Another Marine from uniKZ. And uniKZ bringing up a helicopter. And here we go. Sdrawde going to try and see if he can come out swinging and prevent this base capture from going down. He still has at least 2 turns before Legia is able to make that counter, because that hill between the Marine and the base is going to prevent Legia from being able to get the base capture right away. He will have to wait at least 2 turns. I'm not sure if he can hold out that long, but if he brings a reinforcement, he just might. And now here comes the base capture threat from Sdrawde in the center. Sdrawde and uniKZ looking to take this base and then a second base, and possibly get a very big economic boot. And that center base very well walled off. And if that center base gets captured and a second base gets captured from Team Uniwar Poland, I don't know if Uniwar Poland can bring this game back. Base capture threat has been made, and it looks like Uniwar Poland just does not have enough of those tanks in such a secure position, and that base capture is in fact going to be successfully secured. And it looks like we're going to have a major credit swing. We can see the credit kill count starting to spiral out of control a little bit for Uniwar Poland. Uniwar Poland trying to reconsolidate themselves here. Legia getting some heals off. Steel going for this base capture. He does have a 9 health helicopter there. It could be a big swing. Exactly what they need. They definitely need that base capture to be successful in order to win this game. If this base capture fails, Uniwar Poland is going to be very, very far behind in this game. Bringing back his Marauder, trying to get some heals off, protect that base position from any possible caps. Here comes the helicopters from uniKZ now. uniKZ going to get some nice weakened shots on that mountain Marine. And is that Marine going to go down this turn? No, he will take a one-shot, though. uniKZ getting the base capture over on the west side now. And that's a third base capture option. Here we go. Battery getting a one-shot off. And then a very well-placed engineer. That engineer is in such a good secure position. It can heal up tanks, it can heal up the battery, and just secure that position all day long. Another engineer coming up from uniKZ, and uniKZ considering, and that's not a bad decision. When you're this economically ahead, 2 engineers is a pretty good investment. Because now, in addition to the credit kill count gap that they have now, that engineer is going to allow him to kill more units and continue to recycle what he already has. And when you have the economic boon, you can afford to do that spell, especially with so many bases here to make his production centers. Here comes Sdrawde now, pushing back. Down goes the copter from Sdrawde, and is Sdrawde going to be able to cap the base? And up comes the Marine, and the base capture is going to be repelled by Sdrawde. What a great defense. Legia was so close on capturing that base, but I don't know if they can recapture it. They don't really have any other threatening positions, and Xynth, he's in a lot of trouble. He's had to commit so many resources to defending this southern flank from this push from uniKZ. The Walker are going to be getting some decent shots, but is it going to be enough? Down goes the tank, but there's still another tank there that he has to push through. The second reinforcement plasma is caught a little bit out of position, and this Hydronaut finally getting shots, on Marauders, but this Hydronaut has not hit any heavy units once this game. And I feel like if he'd have been able to get more shots on the copters, it would have been worth the investment, especially so early in the game. Here we go, Legia going to try and repel these Marauders and see if he can take another stab at this base capture. The helicopters in the back are kind of weakened. There is an 8-copter defending that position, though. Legia taking down another Marauder and trying to keep that tank base cap from turning into a capture. Out comes some Marines and another full health helicopter to join the fray. The full health helicopter might be enough to take out that Marine and prevent the capture for another turn. Moving his engineer into position, bringing some Marines out for reinforcements to threaten some more base captures on the south. And here comes the tank swinging out at that plasma tank. That plasma tank starting to get dangerously low. Base capture threat coming down from uniKZ. Is Legia going to be able to repel? I feel like Legia might just have enough units, but he's going to have to be very careful. And it looks like uniKZ might get a very successful wall with this Marauder combo. Down goes the helicopter, and suddenly that base capture looking a lot more dangerous this turn. uniKZ continuing to hammer against Legia, using his... At this point, the material difference is starting to be felt. Although Uniwar Poland is still even in the credit kill, but I feel like we're getting into that turning point in the game where uniKZ and Sdrawde are going to use that economic advantage, and you're going to feel the material swing very quickly. But Uniwar Poland doing a very good job of trading damage for position, and I feel that's what they have to do in this game. If they don't make as much damage per turn as possible, they are going to just fall completely behind once the economic switch. And here's Legia, and Legia needs to make this base capture happen, but Sdrawde doing a very good job of committing enough reinforcements to that area to make sure that every push from Legia is pushed back by weakening and chippening his reinforcements. Out comes some more Marine aggression from the center from Sdrawde. Sdrawde continuing to reinforce that position at the top, and now that position at the top looking very, very strong. Xynth now getting some heals off on his speeders, trying to reinforce that position and deny access to the south. Xynth going to try and bring some mechas also to the center. Another Walker from Xynth, and that Walker would be a pretty big force multiplier at the south. It might be able to repel all those tanks pretty effectively. Here comes some heals on the Marauders. Legia looking to do more damage here, bringing them still in the lead with the credit kill count, even at a base deficit. And here we go. Legia continuing trying to widen their gap as much as possible in the time frame that they have. Here come the copters. Is the copter going to go down this turn? No, it will be brought to a 1 health. Legia going to do a pretty good job of defending that base on the west side for now. And out comes a full health copter on that position. Legia looking to make another push at the north once again. Getting some heals off on that Marauder. Trying to make his forces as strong as possible for the next turn so that they can make that push successfully. And here comes uniKZ, eyeing these unprotected bases from Xynth. Xynth, a little overloaded in the south, was unable to get anything successful. And now a base cap from that southeastern position is being threatened. And uniKZ doing such a great job of bringing aggression from multiple fronts. I feel like every time Team Uniwar Poland is able to reinforce their position, uniKZ switches the area of focus on his aggression. And he's just been able to kind of pick at them from different points over the course of the game and secure positions. And now Team Chitan starting to pull pretty far ahead in the credit kills. More Marines getting pumped out from uniKZ. Another full helicopter on the east center flank. Here comes more helicopter aggression. Sdrawde going to try and weaken this push force, and it looks like what was at first maybe a promising force is not quite enough. There's so many helicopters to deal with. uniKZ pushing Marines from the south as well, and this helicopter is going to go down. And once again, this force up in the north is finally going to be dealt with, and it looks like we might have even a base capture this turn. I think Legia will be able to prevent that base capture for now. But suddenly, I don't know if he's going to be able to deal with that new force up the top, especially with uniKZ reinforcing the position from the central east position. More helicopters moving up into the center, eyeing this Hydronaut now. The Hydronauts could be in a lot of trouble, and if that Hydronaut goes down, long gone is any semblance of control in the center for Team Uniwar Poland. That Hydronaut absolutely has to stay alive. And here we go. Xynth quickly moving in mechas to try and defend this position as much as possible. Bringing out an Eclipse to deal with that helicopter, needing to do everything he can. But now, because he needs to protect the Hydronaut in the center, he's not going to be able to commit as many resources to the south end flanks, which are also being attacked simultaneously. This Eclipse now moving up, and Xynth now doing a very good job with these walkers of clearing out that area and building a mecha to maybe get a cap later. uniKZ's been putting a lot of resources into the east side and hasn't been putting reinforcements in the south. And now that that force is gone, he might find that southern position getting into a little trouble. Meanwhile, Legia trying to make another push. Here comes the cap from Legia, and uniKZ, he's got 2 full health copters there, but Legia might be able to use that 9 copter to effectively block them. No, he has to bring the 9 copter up to make sure that another base capture doesn't come from Uniwar Poland, from uniKZ, and uniKZ might be able to prevent that threat with those 2 full helicopters. Legia continuing to shift his units around, prevent base captures, and go for now a base capture on the central east position instead. Here comes uniKZ. He's going to try and defend against this position. He's going to be able to get the copter down. Down goes the copter, and the base is going to be defended for this turn. Oh, that was so close. Legia came so close to a base capture. That's the second time it's been ripped away from his clutch. I feel so bad. He came so close. Twice now it's been robbed away from him. uniKZ going to be able to secure their lead. Out come more Marines. And now uniKZ, once again, looking to get a cap on this position. Out comes the helicopter cap, threatening another capture. Also dealing with these mechas in the center. Pumping out more helicopters on the eastern side for uniKZ, as well as some Marines to deal with this aggression at the south. And that's what I'm talking about with the credit advantage at this point. uniKZ can only afford to do 2 flanks at once because he's got a base advantage along with Sdrawde. And so now Uniwar Poland this whole game have kind of been in a position where They have to pick one flank to put reinforcements at a time as opposed to two flanks, which is what Sdrawde and uniKZ have been able to do once they got like that 3-base swing. And here we go now, Sdrawde making a very effective defensive line from these Marines, pulling back his copter, not wanting to take on that Hydronaut Eclipse deal with the center. And at least the Hydronaut is still at full health, and there's an Eclipse now, so that it's going to be difficult to secure that center with copters. You're going to have to do it with Marauders and Marines. And these Walkers now, with the Eclipse, going to try and secure that center position. The Walker moving up to get a lot of range in that area. That Walker is suddenly going to be very, very, very dangerous on the position. Now that he's finally able to take it off the bottom line, the Eclipse now going to do some big-time damage to these Marines from uniKZ. And if we take a look at the credit kill count, is Uniwar Poland going to be able to catch up? I don't know. They're 1,000 behind. Like I said, the material swing is starting to manifest itself. But Uniwar Poland desperately needs to make a base capture. A base capture could swing this entire game around. It really could. But that's what they need to do, and they need to do it in the next couple of rounds before this lead spirals out of control. Marines now firing away, trying to repel this pretty considerable attack. I mean, the helicopter, there is a full health there, and there are 2 4-health helicopters. So here comes uniKZ now, going to try and eliminate this copter in the center and get the effective base capture. Is the helicopter going to go down? It should go down, and now uniKZ heavily eyeing that base at the northeastern flank. Helicopter on the base now, going to join in and try to maintain position on that tank, weaken it as much as possible, while the base capture threat is going from uniKZ. uniKZ going for yet another base, another one of Legia's territories. Legia cannot afford to lose another base this turn. uniKZ continuing to do aggression, doing everything he can to make sure that base capture is denied at the southeastern flank. Meanwhile, bringing his Marines up to this exposed exposed central north position from Xynth, repositioning his Marines to make sure that they can go in any direction he wants to should a push come from that position. More Marines coming from the northwest now, from uniKZ, and another battery from uniKZ, and that battery is going to make it very difficult for any attack force to make it into that territory in the southwest. Meanwhile, Sdrawde getting some more helicopter position on Legia's northeastern banks. There's another full health base capture threat now coming from Sdrawde, and I don't know if Legia has enough to repel the attack. These helicopters also getting a lot of surround on that tank. That tank is going to get weakened very, very quickly. And here comes the gang-up attack. Is it going to be a 1 or 2 shot? It's a 1 shot, but now the tank is at 4 health. It's not going to be able to defend that position much longer. Not for another turn, certainly. And out comes Sdrawde, trying to eliminate Legia's forces. Is he going to go for the cap? No, he's going to protect. He's going to pull it back and reuses that helicopter next turn. Out comes more aggression push from these Marines, trying to keep that Hydronaut out of the fray. They do not want that Hydronaut to get into that southern position with the oceans. It would be disastrous, and the Hydronaut does not want to go engage them directly, or else he'll get damaged. Meanwhile, here comes Xynth, trying to eliminate as many of these Marines as possible, getting a 9-shot on a Marine out there, but it has just been chewing up Marines. True that Hydronaut is really good at chewing up Marines, but it needs to chew up heavy units. I will say, at this point, it has gotten quite a few Marines. Meanwhile, these Walkers starting to make their approach. Can the Walkers outrange the batteries and make it difficult for uniKZ to hold on to that position? uniKZ, meanwhile, looking to take on to this base capture from the Legia. Is Legia going to be able to stop it? I'm not sure. Legia's got quite a deficit over there. Here comes Legia with a full health copter to deal with some of these copter pushes, but the base capture is not going to be prevented, and uniKZ getting yet another base from Legia. uniKZ trying to position his batteries to make it difficult for those shielding units to get in front of the Walkers so that the Walkers can't approach upwards, bringing a lot of Marines, making it difficult for Xynth to protect those Walkers from that Marine push. uniKZ, meanwhile, bringing more units, making sure that eyeing this weakened Western Central Bank. uniKZ now pulling copters out, trying to do as much damage to these Marines. Down goes another Marine from uniKZ, and uniKZ going to be able to easily secure this position. The Marines are too weakened. There is a full health copter there, but that full health copter and weakened Marines, I don't think it's enough for a 6-9 copter combo. Up comes the tank from uniKZ, going to defend that position quite ably. Meanwhile, uniKZ doing more damage and aggression, and there comes the base capture threat. And suddenly that Hydronaut and Eclipse is going to have to work together to eliminate that base capture, allowing these Marines from Sdrawde to finally make their approach on that base next to the Hydronaut. Sdrawde now continuing to secure that position on the western side. And Legia in a lot of trouble. He cannot afford to defend the west and the east at the same time. He just does not have the credit count. Credit count starting to spiral out of control. Over 2,000, 2,500 advantage to Team Chitan. Chitan continuing to press their advantage. Getting more damage on this tank. And is the tank going to go down? The tank will go down, and that is going to be yet another base capture from Team Chitan. Sdrawde going to be able to collect another base and widen his credit advantage in this game. Meanwhile, putting the Marauder, is he going to be able to get 2 bases on 1 turn? He is going to get the base cap, and that is a 2 base turn. Oh my goodness. That's such a major swing. Legia is going to be completely crippled. That's a 150 credit swing right there if he can pull it off next round. What a play by Sdrawde. What a double capture combo. Meanwhile, Xynth finally going to be making his approach. Is he going to be able to make this base capture work? He's got to push down these Marines back before he can allow those walkers to get any closer to the heavier units in the back. And another plasma tank would go wonders for that push right now. Meanwhile, the Hydronaut and the Eclipse having to divert their energy to defending that base and allowing a big push from the center to come onto that position. And here comes Xynth, bringing up a walker to reinforce, to help a beleaguered Legia on the right side. Legia, meanwhile, getting the base cap and eyeing a spot. That's a little bit of a weakened position for uniKZ. uniKZ is going to have to pull forces back to deal with this. Great move from Legia. How do you deal with a problem when you're outmanned? Go for a base capture and divert their energy. What a great diversion tactic from Legia. Meanwhile, uniKZ making another base threat, and now these copters going to be able to make their approach on the Hydronaut, as the Hydronaut will be distracted to reduce another base capture. The Hydronaut could go down in a turn or two if this doesn't pull out right for Team Uniwar Poland. uniKZ continuing to press his copter advantage, getting more Marine kills and making pushes onto those far eastern flanks. Continuing copter aggression with this Marine push from uniKZ. Gonna reuse those Marines to reinforce that position on the south. These batteries trying to inch a little bit closer, make it difficult for any approach from that plasma tank. If that plasma tank goes 1 unit closer, it is gone. Out comes the Marines, and suddenly Xynth looking a little outmanned because he spent so much resources on that walker on the other side. He's now in the position where he has to turtle up a little bit on that southern flank. uniKZ now not able to take out that copter, but I think Sdrawde is next. Yeah, Sdrawde is next, and Sdrawde will be able to eliminate the copter and free up that pace position for now. Meanwhile, here come the copters getting a 5-shot on the Hydronaut with the gang up bonus. Is the Hydronaut going to go down this turn? And the Hydronaut is eliminated, and that is a major swing in this game. The Hydronaut was the last beacon of control Team Uniwar Poland had in this game, and without the Hydronaut, the center is completely lost. They are going to be overrun in a matter of 2 or 3 rounds completely in the center. And that is going to be I think that's the last domino that breaks the straw. Maybe if Team Uniwar Poland was able to get a base capture a turn or two, like last turn or the earlier turn, maybe we could talk, but without that Hydronaut, that was the last linchpin of their defense. Team Uniwar Poland, I mean, if I were them, I would definitely at least fight to the bitter end. I hope they do. I don't want to see an early GG here, but without that Hygiene, I don't see what they can do to defend against here. Meanwhile, Sdrawde continuing the push from the north, gonna try and work in tandem with uniKZ to sweep clean the rest of this map. Here comes Xynth, gonna make his last stand here. Can he make this base cap? There's one mecha there, but it's a little too far. He's gonna have to try and push back these Marines. And it looks like that Marine line doing a pretty good job of clearing that base position. I gotta say, if he can do the warp, the cooldown, and the capture, it's not impossible for a base capture there to go down. And also providing a lot of cover from the other side. Xynth's doing a really good job as the support player to this game, with Legia as the attacking force and Xynth as sort of like the nerve center of the defense in the game. Here comes Legia making his last stand against this copter row. Gonna do everything he can to prevent those eastern cases are all that keeps him from even able to build anything on this map. If they guard down, Legia is out. Down finally comes the copter from uniKZ, going to be able to defend that base once and for all. Making his push with his Marines on the side. Going to slowly creep up at these easternmost bases. Making the threat as much as possible. Out comes more Marines. Battery on that position, and that battery, those Marines will not last long. Battery copters Marine is not going to be able to... A Marine line will not last long against a battery copter combo. They are toast. 2 rounds tops for all those Marines. Meanwhile, uniKZ recycling in some copters, gonna look to make another push at the south. Look at all these copters from the center. Yeah, with Xynth eliminated from the center, there's no reason to keep those copters anymore. Gonna use these remaining copters to get rid of that last eclipse in the center, and now Sdrawde and uniKZ looking to make their last push south. How long can Team Uniwar Poland hold out against this push? There are a ton of copters on the board. Sdrawde using his force to just do some cleanup around the units on the north. Legia and Team Uniwar Poland completely eliminated out of the northern and the northwestern. And these last couple of bases making their last stand. Here comes Legia with the heals and the engineer. And with that engineer, it is going to be quite a slaughter. But I would love to see Uniwar Poland hold out to the bitter end. I know they can make it difficult. Uniwar, I love the defiance in Uniwar Poland. If you want to win the game, come and take it from us. Here comes Xynth, continuing to take onto that line. He does not want to give up hope of this base capture, and I would absolutely love to see a base capture come from Uniwar Poland. If Xynth can win that base capture, it may not be winning the game, but it would be a semi-win in spirit, just to be able to say, we took one from you too. Here comes Legia, denying access from that push, but now the center looking a little exposed with all these copters and that battery. Trying to retake that base, making the threat that might divert a few forces. It's a pretty good distraction tactic. It won't get the successful capture, but it will certainly force uniKZ's hand for at least 1 or 2 units. Here comes uniKZ now, going to be able to take down this plasma tank, widening the gap even further. Not many units remaining for Xynth on that position. Getting some big heals on these helicopters. Those helicopters will be joining the fight very soon. More heals coming around from this engineer. And I'd say, I wonder when this push is going to come out. I'd say 1 or 2 turns, 3 at the maximum before the final slaughter shot comes through from these 2 teams. Team uniKZ going to be coming in on these eclipses, getting their shots out. Down the helicopters, and the helicopters now getting dangerously close to these walkers. Those walkers have to stay alive. If those walkers go down, Xynth has nothing to defend, and they will evaporate on that defensive line very, very quickly without the walkers. In come the Marauders, and those Marauders are going to be very, very dangerous as they can sneak in and get at positions on those walkers really, really easily. Sdrawde bringing in that, and that's where all these Marauders you're seeing coming from. These Marauders are immediately moving into that position because Sdrawde knows if he can get Marauders onto that position, they're extremely hard to block Marauders from getting shots at exposed walkers. Sdrawde now going to be looking to push back these Marines. And with these helicopter Marine combo from the north and this battery copter combo from the east, from the western east, I should say, I don't know how long Legia's forces can hang on to that position. Sdrawde now looking to eliminate that last Marine, and down goes the last Marine on those mountain tiles. Is Legia going to be able to make another decent stand? He's going to have a few credits. I think he can. He's got a couple Marines on that position. The problem is that battery is making it really difficult for him to find good defensive spots. Out come the Eclipses to prevent these copters from getting as many shots as they would like against those walkers. Taking another shot at the speeder here. Down goes that Marine. Legia taking a 3-shot at that tank. Up comes the plasma. The tank will be eliminated, and it looks like that position might be defended for yet another round of turns. More mechas being brought out from Xynth, and mechas are a good choice right now because what Xynth needs are lots of units. A lot of smaller units right now is better than 1 or 2 big units for Xynth in that position. Out come the Marines from Legia, gonna try and push back this offensive from uniKZ one last time. uniKZ now looking to eliminate this defensive position from Legia. Legia looking a little scared here as these copters are hungrily eyeing these positions. Another battery from uniKZ, and with those batteries, I think we are going to see finally the last push eastward, as those batteries are going to provide all the firepower you need to move into those exposed flanks. uniKZ now trying to hammer away at this line. He's got a lot of copters, but I don't think he has enough to take down the plasma tank just yet. He can't bring those batteries out to fire at it, or the walkers will destroy them. But it looks like he's willing to bring the batteries into range. And the problem is, those walkers now going to have to focus their fire out onto the batteries. And if they fire onto the batteries, they won't be able to defend against the other heavy units. Marines also getting health there. Here comes Sdrawde. Going to be taking his 1-shot onto that tank. Sdrawde again, taking another 1-shot on the tank. The tank down to 4 health. How long can this tank last? If that tank goes down, it could be big trouble for... Another 4 health. Is the tank going to stay up? No, the tank is going to get eliminated, and the walker is going to be exposed. And here it comes from Sdrawde once again, taking a 7-shot at the walker. The first walker going to be eliminated. And Xynth now been eroded to 1 walker, moving the helicopter into position. Now going to be using this just enormous force of walkers and marauders to whittle down these eclipses. That eclipse is going to go down to with a big 3-shot on it. Is it going to get down this turn? It looks like the marauder will be enough to eliminate that eclipse. And now Xynth now left with just a mecha, a walker. And walker takes a 4-shot, and now only an eclipse, a weakened walker. Is the walker going to go down this turn? Another 4-shot on the walker. Sdrawde continuing to move his marauders out into the position, getting a 2-shot against that speeder, getting a big gang up on that speeder. That speeder was in a pretty critical position, and it looks like that speeder might be brought down this turn. No, the speeder will not be eliminated, but it's brought down pretty badly to a 3 health. Here comes Sdrawde now, continuing to push onto that eastern flank. There's not a lot of Marines left from Legia. This could be it. Here comes Sdrawde. Down goes that last defensive Marine. Only 1 Marine remains on the base, and I think Sdrawde has enough to start taking these bases right now. Here come the helicopters for Sdrawde. That Marine is eliminated, and here comes the base cap. The threat is on the way, and it looks like we could have yet another base capture from Sdrawde, and those eastern bases look like they are just about ready to fall. Out come the helicopters from Sdrawde for some more reinforcements, a few more Marines, another heal from that helicopter, and now Xynth going to try and repel this helicopter that's managed to get its way past his defenses. The Eclipse is going to do a lot of damage on that helicopter. That combined with the Eclipse should be enough to take it out. But the Walker, so heavily damaged and surrounded by Marauders, it's easily going to get eliminated as soon as this turn is over. But Xynth now looking to get rid of these Marauders as much as possible. The Marauders are a big threat. If he can get one or two, he might be able to survive another turn for it. Xynth now going to go try and take some shots at uniKZ. Whittle down that Marine line. Building another Walker to try and defend that position, and that Walker's going to make an approach. And I'll say this for Xynth, he has defended the last two base section very well. He's not going to make it easy to get into that position. You're going to have a lot of forces. Fortunately, there's a lot of forces on the board. Here comes the battery from uniKZ now, eliminating that last Eclipse. Out comes the push from the tank. Going to get a big shot on this mountain mecha. That mountain mecha looked like it might go down right here. Out comes the helicopter, and that last mecha stand is going to finally be eliminated, and the Walker completely eliminated. And here comes the kill stroke. Down goes the Walker, and at last, uniKZ has secured the southernmost bases of the map. uniKZ now making his approach. A pretty leisurely approaches, looks like, as he's just like, units, go. Here comes the Marines, tanks, batteries, copters. And it's gotten to a point where it's just an unstoppable machine. Here comes uniKZ, just getting his batteries into position for that last Sdrawde. They still got a bunch of units right here to deal with, though. This is not going to be an easy position to knock out. You're going to have to use everything that's on this board to wedge Legia from that position, especially since he has a Walker and all those plasma tanks. Fortunately for uniKZ, he does have a couple of tanks here, but it might take him a while to get over here. Sdrawde now looking to get rid of these last bases here. There are a couple Marines that still have to be dealt with. A lot of these helicopters looking strong for uniKZ, but a bit out of position to take it just this turn. Sdrawde now looking to do some more damage, but he looks like he's running out of in-range helicopters. But he is going to be able to get that base capture off, and there's no way those Marines can stop it. And so if you can just capture it one base at a time, that's how you can pick them apart. That's fine. And now Sdrawde looking to make his last descent on these bases. Can they get the full cap this turn? I believe he can. Are there enough helicopters in range to do it, though, is the question. These Marauders, though, exactly. And this is what I was saying about the Marauders. The helicopters, they might need another turn to get over there. But if you can keep those Marauders alive, there is nothing stopping you from just getting the full cap. And now the cap is finally complete. The southernmost bases. And here comes the last stand of the game. How long can Xynth and Legia make this stand work? Helicopters here. Gonna try and pick apart that speeder. And getting those helicopters into position. Can they do it next turn, or will it be a game that lasts all the way to turn 20? I'd love to see Xynth make it difficult. Here comes these helicopters, and it looks like those helicopters will be able to get down that first plasma tank on that position, but there's still an 8 health plasma tank waiting to get a big heal next turn. And here comes another helicopter from Sdrawde on that position. A second helicopter from Sdrawde on that position. Big heal on that helicopter as well. Double heal on the Marauder. Another heal on the Marine. And it looks like... I wonder if he can get the full cap. I think it could take 2 turns. I don't know. Out comes Xynth now, getting a big shot on that helicopter, eliminating that first in-range helicopter. And remember, there are a lot of helicopters here, but only so many of them are within range of the bases. Xynth now making sure these Marines at the top from uniKZ do not get to make their ascent, bringing back that plasma tank, and that plasma tank going to try and say, well, if I don't want to be exposed outside, I want to pull outside of that helicopter range as much as possible so that plasma tank takes as little damage as possible in the next turn. Legia now going to try and weaken at least one of these copters needs to go down for Legia, and it does, and Legia looking like he might just be able to hold on to his bases for possibly another turn. These copters, not all of them are still in range of the bases once again. And here come the copters from uniKZ, lying hungrily, these mechas, trying to eliminate as many as he can from the back. uniKZ going to make another base cacher at the south. Out comes another helicopter from uniKZ. Down goes another mecha for Legia. Every unit is critical to this defense. We're on round 19. Can Team Chitan take it this turn? Out come the tanks. Still moving into position. Batteries getting a little bit closer. Those batteries will blow everything up, but it might take a few turns for them to get there. uniKZ just continuing to reposition helicopters to the center and making that push to the east as much as possible. Just a repositioning of all reinforcements. Here it comes. uniKZ gonna be able to get that first Marine. Get a big shot against that second Marauder. That Marauder gonna go down right here with the gang up. There's no way that Marauder lasts. And now it looks like Legia being very exposed on those bases. I think he can get the cap right here, right now. Out comes the 8 health. Now the 8 health opting to go down to the Marauders. Marauders taking 5 shot. And that Marauder needs to last a turn, but I don't think it can against that full health Marine. And the Marauder does go down. And another battery on that position from uniKZ. And that battery is going to pick apart that defense real quick. Battery could not be in a better position. That Walker going to have to waste a shot on the battery, but the battery can get a counterattack on the Walker. That's the problem. Meanwhile, these helicopters getting another shot on that Mecha, and down goes the Mecha and the base with it, as the base will remain capped. Here comes Sdrawde now, going to be able to get that first shot on that speeder, and it looks like that exposed base is going to be able to get capped this turn as well. Moving that helicopter a little bit closer to the defensive line. Can this Eclipse hold out for another turn? I don't think that Team Chitain is going to have enough for this turn, and it looks like it's going to be pushed to turn 20 of the game, and it looks like Xynth defiantly holding on for yet another round, potentially. Is the firepower there? This Marauder looking hungrily to get to that Walker, but it looks like it's going to be denied by that Mecha on that position. Here comes some motion from Team Chitan, and it looks like Team Uniwar Poland hanging on to the full 20 rounds. What a great game, guys. Let's take a look at these last couple of moves. Sdrawde now looking to eliminate the remainder of Legia's base and take Legia out of the game right here, right now. And it looks like he will have the forces, and those bases from Legia gonna get captured. Turn is not over. We're still on round 19. And here comes Legia building more reinforcements. Just moving his helicopters up into position. What a fantastic game. I'm really enthused. It was so much fun to watch from top to bottom. It started out as who's going to win, and then it started out as how difficult can we make it for Team Chitan to take what's ours. Such a great game. Here comes Xynth now, getting another plasma take on that position. Is he going to be able to last to turn 21? I highly doubt those plasma tanks. No, here comes uniKZ getting big shots on that tank, and that plasma tank taken down immediately to a 3 health. And it looks like Team Chitan finally going to be able to take the last of these bases away. uniKZ just pushing everything up ahead. I'm going to fast forward just a little bit to catch us up to speed. And here come the shots. Here come the last shots. uniKZ going to move up on this position. Down comes a 3 shot on the Walker. I think that Walker will go down right away. These Marauders moving into position. Getting more health on the helicopters. Looking to see if they can do it this turn. I feel very confident that uniKZ and Team Chitan will take it this turn. What a great game, guys. I think this is an example of a game where things can spiral out of control about base captures. But the thing is that Legia had 2 base captures that were extremely close to being successful. And I feel that if either one of those base captures had gone down, this would have been a different game. Or at least it would have been a longer game, possibly. But both times, I think that uniKZ did a really great job of blocking the center of the map. Sorry, not the center, but more. He was able to attack from the south, and he was able to attack from the north pretty capably. I was really impressed. From the west and from the, not from the north and the south, I'm sorry, from the west and the northeast. And I think the way he played that out was just fantastic. And here we see the last couple of moves on the game. Sdrawde looking for the last kill shots. Down goes the remainder Eclipse. And here comes the base capture, and there is the GG. What a well-played game, everybody. Really fun to watch. And like I said, I think that because uniKZ was able to so ably bring his attack force into 2 fronts, it was a gamble. Because when you do that, keeping your units alive is everything. If you get caught off guard trying to go for a two-pronged attack, and one of your forces dies, suddenly half your army supply is just eliminated and you're in big trouble. But uniKZ did a really good job of being economical about when to attack with his units, picked apart at the right places, and was able to get a fairly early base capture, which they were able to capitalize on that real quick. And Legia, I just feel like especially that turn around, if we take a look at the round, just a little bit of lag here. I think it was around round 15, round 16, round 17. No, earlier than that, like around round 10. I'm not gonna. The game's getting a little loopy with it, so we'll leave it be for now. But I think somewhere around round 10, round 9, Legia was going to go for a capture on this position, and I feel if this capture had gone on, they were only down 2 bases at the time, and Sdrawde really scrambled and was able to pick it apart just by the skin of his teeth. And if this capture had gone down, it would have been a completely different game. The other thing that to really mention, I feel that this Hydronaut coming up, the timing and positioning of it was difficult. And I understand that at the time I remember, as I recall, there was a decent number of units controlling the center from Sdrawde at the time when this unit was built, and Sdrawde did a really, really good job of making sure that this unit never was able to get past these 2 squares, and in fact was never actually left this port once. And the reason being that if he had brought it up to this position, he would have exposed the Hydronaut to helicopter attacks. And you don't want to let gang ups from the helicopters and from the Marines happen, or this Hydronaut's not going to be around very long, and it's too expensive of a unit to let down. It did get a lot of kills on Marines, I will say that, but when you bring out a Hydronaut, I feel like this Hydronaut helped a lot with control of the center, but ideally you're looking for this Hydronaut to be a helicopter killer in the center, not a Marine killer. And that was the other thing. When this Hydronaut came up, they were already a base or 2 down, and Team Chitan's like, well, okay, we're up a slight economic advantage, and he just brought a Hydronaut. If we can limit that, if we can make our play about limiting that Hydronaut's ability to do big damage points in the center, then we're going to build on top of the advantage we already have. We're going to get ourselves a second advantage. And I think that is what really made this game kind of crumble to one side as the advantage credit kill count started to become more and more one-sided. Anyways, what a fantastic game. Such a great last stand too at the end. It was exciting to watch from front to center, I think. With that being, that is our match, ladies and gentlemen, and it will be Team Chitan taking the victory and moving on to face Team New Earth in the Risky Business 2v2 semifinal match. In the meantime, don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, just let me know what you guys think. Also, be sure to go check out Uniwar Poland's channel. I am Ray, and until next time, I'm EnnuiGoblin, signing out.